Oh man, now we're cooking with sauce. Mario Kart DS, easily one of the highest rating games in this franchise. I did not have a Nintendo DS growing up, so I didn't get to experience this game. My childhood Mario Kart was Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube. I always wanted a DS growing up. So bad I wanted a DS. I saw friends having the DS. I'd see them playing New Super Mario Bros. Even the mini games from Super Mario 64 DS. And I wanted it so bad. And instead I got an Xbox 360. Sure. Not to say anything bad about the 360. I enjoyed that too. But I wanted a DS so bad. And so now, as an adult, I can just go back to the DS and enjoy its library. Specifically, in this case, enjoying Mario Kart DS. So I don't really have much nostalgia for this game. So I can kind of look at this a little less biased. I think a lot of people have, some bias towards games like this because it was part of their childhood. But overall, truly, I think Mario Kart DS has the juice. I think it holds up really well. It is, I believe, the third highest grossing Mario Kart game, behind Wii and, 8 if you count 8 and Deluxe together. I think it's kind of justified. This is kind of a turning point, in my opinion, in the Mario Kart franchise. I think all the games before this kind of mark a really weird gameplay period for Mario Kart. I think Mario Kart DS is the point in which the series really took a big modern leap forward, and it's kind of the baseline of what Mario Kart is today. If you look back at games like Super Mario Kart, Mario Kart Super Circuit, 64, kind of Double Dash 2, all of them are, they play a little weird or a little differently. Like I said, I just recently went back to Double Dash on the GameCube. It's a quality game, but let's not act like that game is perfect. That game is so slippery to control. It takes forever to readjust to the gameplay. If you're good at Mario Kart World, for example, that doesn't mean you're going to be good at Mario Kart Double Dash. It plays totally different. Whereas Mario Kart DS, there's some modern sensibilities in this game, and I kind of like it. Just looking first at the box art, this is during that time when Mario was cool. Look at that posing on Mario. He just looks like he means business. The font in this logo is a little different. It's a little more hardcore, a little metallic. Definitely has that, 2000s, the iPhone was cool, minimalist design. This is just a big leap for the Mario Kart franchise. Looking at the back, over 30 courses. This was a big deal. This is the first official time we got retro courses in our Mario Kart games, which will become a standard for Mario Kart going forward. Yeah, Super Circuit had, all of the Super Mario Kart courses remade. That's not really retro tracks. That's just Mario Kart Super Circuit having Super Mario Kart as part of the game. Whereas in this case, in Mario Kart DS, they had to curate a list of retro tracks from the 4 previous games and gave us, decent enough quality tracks from older games to play on our DS. I mean, just look at how this looks. Obviously this is playing on a Nintendo 3DS XL, but overall, I mean, the DS, art style is a hit or miss art style, but with Mario Kart DS specifically, I think it holds up really well. It's not a perfect Mario Kart game by any means. We'll kind of get to some complaints I have with it as well. But just being able to go through and have a, fully fledged Mario Kart on the handheld, one that is not Super Circuit, where it's just Super Mario Kart, but a little better. Having something that is truly comparable to a home console Mario Kart on the handheld is truly remarkable. So I just kind of want to go through some of what Mario Kart DS had to offer, kind of show what truly is good about this game. So I'm just going to jump into the Grand Prix. Obviously, you have 50, 100, 150cc, and then 150cc mirror mode. Double Dash did the same thing. Looking at this character select screen, we have 12 characters in here. Bigger than Super Circuit, which is good. Not the craziest lineup. We just came off of Double Dash, which I believe had, 24? Somewhere in that range, 20 to 24. And, granted, that's on a GameCube. That's on a home console. Something much more powerful than what we were working with on the DS. This roster overall, I would say, is sufficient. I think it covers all the bases that you need to cover. I think it has all the characters that you really need to have. I don't think we're necessarily missing anyone in particular. Just going through, we have our base roster from Mario Kart 64, Mario, Luigi, Peach, Yoshi, Toad, Donkey Kong, Wario, Bowser, right? You have to have them. They are standard. They are Mario Kart royalty at this point. We have 4 characters that you can unlock. First off, Daisy, returning from Double Dash. Obviously, Daisy's an iconic character at this point, so it feels very justified to have her in here. The second one that's returning from Double Dash is Waluigi. I love Waluigi. Waluigi has a cult following for a character in Mario in general. So happy that he's here. And then we have 2 characters that have never been in Mario Kart before. First off, we have Dry Bones. Dry Bones, I think it's an interesting character pick. We've had Koopa Troopa in the past. Dry Bones is obviously a different take on that character. Even looking at his animation, he's fun. He's interesting. I'm not opposed to having him in here. And our last character is Rob. Rob the robot, the toy from the NES. I think he is so goofy to have here, and I love it. I think Mario Kart rosters are at their best when there's something zany going on, something just a little raunchy going on. And I think Rob fits that quota perfectly. There is actually a 13th character that you can play as only in DS download play. So if you are someone who does not have Mario Kart DS, you can play with someone that does have the game, and you get to play as Shy Guy. Why Shy Guy's not an option in the base roster as well, I couldn't tell you. But that is a neat little factoid as well, that you can play as an elusive 13 character. I also want to talk about some of the karts that you have in this game, because I think Mario Kart DS's kart selection is super funny and really just intriguing to look at. Obviously you have standard ones, but there's certain cool ones like Shooting Star. That's such a cool one. This big old 4-wheeled cradle looks epic. The Banisher for Dry Bones. I love that they have this big old crane, big old piece of technology. I think the Gold Mantis is called. Really dumb. Luigi has some really cool ones. The Poltergust 4000 based on Luigi's Mansion, I think is a really cool kart. Cucumber, kind of cool. Wildlife, you have this kind of safari jeep. The Dragonfly, which is just a tractor. There are some karts that are based on Rob, which are really cool. Rob BLS, kind of C based on Stack Up. Cool to have as a kart. Rob LGS, this is Rob with some tall legs. We like Rob with tall legs. We have the Hurricane, which is just a whole plane, the Koopa plane. Really cool design. The Zipper, this big old tricycle. And we have the Rambi Rider based on Donkey Kong. Like, such cool designs. Throughout, you've noticed that there are some weird blue designs on some of these karts in different places. That's because Mario Kart DS also had the Emblem Maker. So the Emblem Maker, you can make your own design based on whatever you want. Yeah, it's gonna be pixelated, but you'll see on here, it uses the touchscreen to kind of make it a little easier to make your design. A really cool addition, customizable option, kind of make the kart your own. Something I want to talk about though are the tracks in Mario Kart DS. I think Mario Kart DS has some of the best new track additions in the whole franchise. I think it does some really, really unique stuff. Some fan favorite tracks that, return throughout future entries. So I just kind of want to go through these tracks and kind of talk about them a little bit. Mushroom Cup, obviously it's the Mushroom Cup, so it's going to be a little bit more, simple track designs. We have Figure 8 circuit, pretty standard, nothing too special. It's the first course of the whole game. It's a Figure 8, sure. Yoshi Falls. Yoshi Falls is a classic at this point. I wouldn't say Yoshi Falls is my favorite course. I think it's a good enough course. I think especially for the Mushroom Cup. I think it's uniquely designed. It's a different take on a Yoshi course. I believe at this point, the last course we got that was Yoshi themed was Yoshi Circuit on the GameCube. So yeah, a new take on a Yoshi course, sure. Cheap Cheap Beach, this is a classic, cool water level. This is before we had Mario Kart 7, which would introduce underwater driving. Truth be told, Mario Kart DS is actually the one that introduced underwater driving, and we'll show you why in a little bit. Cheap Cheap Beach, a great course. And then Luigi's Mansion, iconic. Really nice to see this kind of crossover between, some of the spin-offs, like Luigi's Mansion, seeing that in another spin-off Mario Kart, same with seeing the Poltergust as, a vehicle option. Really cool kind of continuity there. Then we have the Flower Cup, Desert Hills, it's fine. I don't think desert courses are usually the most well-liked by anyone at this point, but it suffices. Delfino Square, though, that does more than suffice. That is... Oh, I love Delfino Square. I think that is easily one of the best courses in this game, and I just want to see this course come back in an HD game so bad. We had it as a retro course in Mario Kart Wii. Oh my goodness, that's not good enough. I want to see this course in Mario Kart World as DLC. Oh my goodness, this course is so good. You know, Super Mario Sunshine, which was a pretty recent release on the GameCube, just awesome. And to follow that up, Waluigi Pinball? I mean, iconic. This is a fan favorite course through and through. Such an interesting theming for a course, making it this giant pinball table, and you're driving on it. So cool, based on Waluigi. Love Waluigi. So many good things. And then Shroom Ridge, you know, it's a fun little course. You know, it's on the, you know, cliffside most of the time. It's a decent course, you know. It's good enough. Star Cup, you know, DK Pass would obviously come back in Mario Kart World. You know, much better in Mario Kart World, but, you know, it's not a bad, you know, snow course. Tick-Tock Clock, that's a really cool course that DS introduced. Really happy we have that. Mario Circuit's not a bad course. It's you know, it's pretty generic. It's Peach's Castle again. We've seen that a couple times at this point, but you know, it suffices. And then Airship Fortress. Oh, another good one. Another solid one. Woo! Yeah, Airship Fortress, so cool. Being able to go onto, you know, the airship of Bowser himself. Get all these cool obstacles, all these cool enemies. Very interesting track design. Going from different, you know, terrains and levels, and just so cool, so cool. And then lastly, the Special Cup, Warrior Stadium. It's, you know, it's good. I think I'm not as crazy about it as other people, but, you know, it is a good course overall. It's that, obviously, it's different than the Warrior Stadium we had in N64 and GameCube. So it's kind of like another take on this stadium. It's good. It's good. Peach Gardens, this is another really, really good one. Iconic, would come back multiple times in the series. You know, based it on the gardens of Peach's Castle, all the foliage, all the bushes designed after characters, really cool. Bowser's Castle in this game is really, really neat, actually. It has some really interesting gimmicks, you know, some of the moving platforms. It has like a spiral that you have to drive perfectly against to get across from one side to the other, or else you have to take an alternate route on the ground. Really cool stuff that it does. And then of course, Rainbow Road. I think Mario Kart DS's Rainbow Road is good. I think it's pretty good overall. I don't think it's necessarily one of the best. I think it does suffice in a lot of ways. I think it does some cool things. It has some loop-de-loops, really some of our first, you know, kind of seeing of anti-gravity, which is, you know, kind of notable as well. It's a good Rainbow Road. I'm not gonna say it's bad. Then we have the retro courses. Like I was saying, the first official time we would have retro courses in a Mario Kart game. First we have a Shell Cup. At this point, there were 4 different games that came out before Mario Kart DS. So each of these cups will have one course from each of those games. That means one from Super Mario Kart, one from Mario Kart 64, one from Super Circuit on the GBA, and one from Double Dash on the GameCube. So we see here on the SNES, our SNES courses are all going to be pretty, you know, I'm not going to say similar, but pretty basic. You know, they're on that flat plane. Mario Circuit 1 is Mario Circuit 1. That's going to be pretty much my reaction for all these SNES courses. They're all just flat, you know, pretty faithful to the original versions of them. You know, it's fine. Moo Moo Farm, you know, kind of an interesting pick from 64. Definitely the lesser of the two in these days in terms of Moo Moo Farm compared to Moo Moo Meadows from the Wii. But, you know, it's nice to be able to go back to this game and have this course, you know, available. Peach Circuit from the GBA, it's fine. You know, same style as, you know, a Super Mario Kart track. You know, nice backgrounds. And then Luigi Circuit, that was one of the more basic courses from the GameCube. You're driving right past people in different parts of the map. You know, interesting little gimmick, but, you know, it's fine. Banana Cup, Donut Plains, pretty simple. Frappe Snowland, you know, good enough N64 track. You know, it suffices here. Not as good as DK Pass in terms of a snow level, but it's fine. Bowser Castle 2, that's a decent little, you know, track from Super Circuit to come back. I'm kind of fine with that. And then Baby Park from GameCube, I mean, a classic. Some people have gripes with it. It only has 5 laps instead of the 7. You know, it is what it is. It's still nice to have Baby Park back. Leaf Cup, Koopa Beach 2. This one, I would say, is actually one of the better SNES courses to come back. It's a nice variety. Aesthetically, it's, you know, different than the other Super Nintendo courses. Having those parts of the water where you just sink, you know, it's nice. Chocolate Mountain, I would say it's one of the better N64 courses out of these 4. Looks much nicer, even though it's on the DS. It's a nice little upgrade from the N64. Luigi Circuit, you know, it's just a circuit course in the rain. It has puddles that you can spin out on, which are just kind of annoying more than anything, but it's fine. And then Mushroom Bridge, really good GameCube course to come back. Kind of annoying they removed that thing in the course where you could drive up these parts of the bridge. That's not available in this version of the course, so that kind of sucks, but it's still not a bad course. Then Lightning Cup, Chocolate Island 2, everything looks like literal poop, so that's fine, you know, sure. Banshee Boardwalk, a nice different aesthetic to the other N64 courses. You can tell it's an N64 course even with the updates made. It's a very simple kind of design, but it's nice change of pace. Sky Garden from GBA. Sky Garden was easily one of the best courses from Super Circuit. It's an okay version of the course. It suffices. It's still relatively flat, so it doesn't do anything in terms of that aspect. But the theming, the aesthetic of it all, you know, being that garden in the sky, it's nice to have. And then Yoshi Circuit from GameCube. A little nerfed in some ways. Doesn't feel as bombastic as the GameCube version, but it is Yoshi Circuit. You know, it feels like you're getting the main skeleton of that course, but aesthetically it feels like it's kind of missing some aspects. So that's the 32 courses from DS. Overall, I would say it's not bad. I think you get some good gameplay out of it. Even the retro courses, even though some of them are a little lackluster, I think the overall gameplay of DS makes up for some of that. So it doesn't matter as much with some of these courses. I think you can still have a good time overall. Next, I want to talk about battle mode. Mario Kart DS has a really good battle mode. There's only 2 options, which of course, you know, that's not as exciting. More options are usually better for battle modes. But the 2 options they have are pretty good. Balloon battle, pretty typical, you know, burst your opponent's balloons with different items, last man standing. There is a weird gimmick. They really wanted to use the tech on the DS, so to get more balloons, you have to blow into the microphone to blow up your balloons that you have in storage. It's weird. That's a little bit too much. I would prefer to just be able to maybe press a button, or at least have the option to press a button. But no, I had to blow into the mic to blow up balloons. Okay, thanks. I think Shine Runners, though, is the real standout of battle mode. You're just collecting shines on the course, but the thing is, this is like a battle royale before battle royales were really in. Over time, every like 30 seconds or so, whichever person has the least amount of shines, they get eliminated. And so it's kind of a last man standing sort of deal. And I think it's actually really fun. I think it's really addicting to play Shine Runners. Of course, the modes in battle mode don't really matter if the courses for battle mode are not good. And I am happy to report that Mario Kart DS has some pretty good battle stages. First, Nintendo DS. I love this course. It pays homage to Double Dash's GameCube course. In some ways, it might be better having that fold, the change in the terrain and the level of it. Really nice to have. This is a really fun course. Obviously, it's just floating in outer space, which is also just kind of funny. Twilight House is a really interesting course. Very close quarters in each of the rooms. Very nicely laid out where you have this kind of outer perimeter that you can drive across, but then you can drive in between the rooms. I think it's a really nice kind of different take on a battle course. Palm Shore, this is where I'm talking about with the underwater driving originating in this game. You can drive underwater in parts of this map. When the tide is rising and the water is at a certain level, you can go into the water and drive. Mario Kart 7, eat your heart out. It's a fine course. Tart Top, pretty simple course. I love it. It's just a circle with a speed little mountain in the middle to kind of climb up. Block Fort, another classic one. I believe that one also came back from 64. Really fun course. A pretty big course too. Having multiple levels, multiple interconnecting places to kind of duke it out. Really nice to have. And then Pipe Plaza, straight from GameCube. Another one that's really fun. The pipes kind of randomize. Pretty simple course. Have the ramps, but overall, a pretty solid course. So yeah, the battle mode is just so fun. It's pretty snappy, pretty quick to kind of get in, get out. And so if you're in the mood for a battle mode, which I'm not always in Mario Kart games, I think overall the best Mario Kart battle mode is still Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But I would say DS has a pretty respectable battle mode. Now this is interesting. Mario Kart DS had the missions mode. And this is essentially, I mean, I don't want to call it a story mode for Mario Kart, but it's essentially a story mode for Mario Kart. Really fun mode. These missions kind of have a big range, you know, from driving through all the numbered gates, collecting all the items, racing in single laps, racing backwards, a bunch of really cool things that make up the different missions. There are 6 levels, and each level culminates in a boss battle, which is really cool. So you fight, you know, Big Bully, I-Rock, Goomboss, King Boo, King Babam, and Chief Chili. I don't know why Chief Chili is our final boss, but we'll take it. I'm pretty sure Chief Chili is an original boss from Super Mario 64 DS. I think that's how you unlock Wario. Okay, I guess it's our final boss. But when we do beat the final boss, we do get this sweet credit sequence play. And it's really just, it kind of helps you feel like you accomplished something. You know, it's not going to take you forever to go through this mission mode. Probably finish it in like an hour to 2 hours. But it can be fun to go back, you know, to try to get the highest rank, which is triple stars. Most of the time, that's just going to be from completing it faster. But that can also be fun to do too. So if you want to go for, you know, truly 100%ing it, you know, that's going to get you a little more time out of it as well. I think this is a mode that kind of represents what more modern Mario Karts are missing. I think a game like Mario Kart World feels like it's lacking because there is no significant single-player content. And to note that Mario Kart DS had something as fleshed out as this mission mode is, I think it feels a little bittersweet just knowing that they wouldn't really do something like this again to this extent, you know, in all those games that came after this. I do have some minor complaints overall about the game. I think some of the things you have to do to unlock the 4 characters can get just repetitive. You don't start out with all the Grand Prix unlocked in any of the speeds from 50 to 150cc. And so you have to play through them each time to get more and more of the courses unlocked. And what's unfortunate is I had to play through multiple different speeds to unlock all of these characters. Some of them required 50cc, some of them required 100cc. Rob specifically requires 150cc in mirror mode. And so having to replay these courses over and over again at different speeds just to unlock these things can get kind of repetitive. Small nitpicks, I don't like, this is really stupid. I think the items don't reappear after they've been taken fast enough. I think they kind of go a little slow for my liking. Kind of sounds dumb, but I think that would be something that, you know, could be improved. Bigger complaint, I think the weight system in this game is so out of whack. I could be playing as Donkey Kong, and I am driving on a course, and all of a sudden Rob drives up next to me, and he bumps into me, and I will go flying off the course. The weight balance is totally unfair in this game. I think that is one of the few things that kind of ruin your enjoyment at times, just because it's so all of a sudden and such only negative impacts. Yeah, it can be fun to do it to other racers at times, but when it happens to you, it just feels so bad. Items are pretty standard. You know, some of the items work differently than they do in other games. The triple banana, all 3 of them stack behind you while you're holding it instead of, you know, circulating around you like the shells do. Feels like if you're in first, you get hit with a lot of blue shells. I think the items are not as bad as they are in Mario Kart Wii. I think the item balance in that game is just absurd. But if you're in first a lot, it does feel like you're just gonna get hit with blue shell after blue shell after blue shell. And there's no real new exciting items. I know in the original demo for Mario Kart DS, the one that would be in stores, they showed a chain chop item similar to the one that was in Double Dash. That doesn't appear in here. Items are pretty standard. It's just shells, bananas, stars, and mushrooms. I don't know if there's anything else. Oh, and the decoy block. That's like it. And if you're in first, you know, all you get is bananas. Obviously it's to balance it out, but when you don't get many different items in the other places either, you know, it gets kind of old kind of fast. One thing I didn't mention that I do kind of like is the drifting in this game. Having to go from left to right while drifting is kind of neat. I think it's a nice little, you know, test of skill. Of course, I didn't play this on the original DS growing up, so I mostly play on a 3DS where I can use the analog stick. Might feel cheap. I wouldn't say it necessarily fixes anything with the feeling of playing Mario Kart DS with a D-pad, for example. Obviously the controls, it feels a little better on my thumb, but in terms of, you know, actual control and the directions that you have, it's gonna play pretty similar just because it's not coded to have an analog stick that way. You have time trials, you know, sure, race as fast as you can, pretty standard in a Mario Kart game these days. But yeah, that's Mario Kart DS. Like I said, this game is just so good. It has everything you could really want from a Mario Kart game, especially at the time of the DS. Having this game anywhere with you on the go, taking a full-fledged Mario Kart in your pocket, is still, to this day, just incredible. Obviously, you know, we're a little spoiled now having, you know, our Switch and Switch 2s have different Mario Kart games go portable. But technically, this is even smaller than those. And so to have all that technology, you know, in 2005, on a small little cartridge, on this severely underpowered system, you know, playing full 3D graphics, playing all these courses, having 32 courses, which the GameCube game didn't even have. I think Mario Kart DS truly does have what it takes to be one of the best Mario Karts in the whole franchise. And I am so happy that even though I didn't grow up with this game, I can still enjoy this game now for all that it has to offer. But if I get knocked off the course one more time by a heavier character, I promise you I'm going to lose it.